Hello and welcome to the Media Marketing Podcast, a place where you can learn about all things video, photo, podcasting, and how to create and market those assets. But I won't be doing it alone. I'll be bringing on some guests who are much more knowledgeable than myself, and they might just be doing things a little differently. So I'm excited to share those strategies that you can implement into your own business or bring that information back to your marketing team. But yeah, I'm trying to bring as much content and good information as I can to this podcast. So get excited and get ready for this experience, this exploration, this journey, whatever you want to call it. Cue the intro.
Thank you for checking out the Media Marketing Podcast, a place where you can learn all things media and marketing related. Don't miss a beat in boosting your business and your brand. In each episode, you'll gain valuable insights, tools, and strategies to apply to your marketing efforts. And now your host, Brian Cargill.
All right, so let's get out of the gates talking about a particular marketing strategy. This is a newer form of marketing, and it's called content marketing. That's actually what this podcast is. I'm a big believer in content marketing because it's something that you can do to scale your business. It's a little bit of a long game as you need to create these assets, this information that you're sharing with people. And so some examples of content marketing, like I mentioned, this podcast. You might have seen blogs, ebooks, social media channels, video libraries. All of these things are a form of content marketing where you're sharing your knowledge with your audience, and it helps somewhat build your credibility in your industry or whatever niche or marketplace that you're serving, and it helps reinforce and build those digital relationships with your customers, answering some of their questions, some of their pain points, and who doesn't like to give back to the community? So with this podcast, we're going to be diving into this method, this strategy later, and we're going to be talking about a lot of other marketing channels and marketing ways to market your business overall. So why do something like this? Why grow some kind of channel, YouTube or a podcast or a blog? Why build these? Because they continue to grow and they continue to work in the background, and your customers are going to be looking at your work, wanting to interact with you at any time of the day. And with the internet, with digital assets, they can access those anytime. And it has a snowball effect. Things keep building and growing, and you start to have some rewards and success from your work over time. But it's one of those things where you really have to build sweat equity, putting in some of the hard work, but over time it'll continue to grow, like I've mentioned. And this makes you, why do something like this? Well, it makes you unique. Other people in your industry might not be doing a blog or a podcast, so it can really help you stand out from the competition. It helps reinforce that you're knowledgeable about the topic, knowledgeable about your services, knowledgeable about strategies, things that can help your audience and your customers grow and succeed. So when you are piecing together your own strategy, what you'd like to give back to the community, think about what can you do that's going to improve your customer's life, is going to improve a process for them, what is one thing that's just going to make things a little easier on them. Some people I've seen on some of their strategies, mainly on kind of social media, is that you see anything from like inspirational, which can actually be a great thing for your audience if they need, like, say, fitness, for example. Maybe you're posting inspirational stuff to get people to want to get to the gym, to interact with your product. If you have like an online service, or maybe you have a video library of workout trainings for people, that's something to consider. So but let's get back to this podcast. So what is this podcast? What is it going to do for you? So that's one strategy right away, giving you some value, is content marketing. Another thing is that we are going to provide valuable content week in and week out. And for those that are looking for more information, you can go to tactusmedia.com/media marketing podcast. And that will give you a little bit more info about some of my work that I do, and as well about the show and myself as people are readers. But enough of the pitch for my website, but I want to keep going and explain to you what I am hoping to do with this podcast, what I'm hoping to do for you. And that is, I'm going to be sharing some very, very valuable information about how to build some of these marketing assets. Because that's within my wheelhouse, and then I'm going to bring people on that are knowledgeable about what they do in marketing, and you're going to be walking away inspired to maybe want to build some of these on your own, and I will be explaining how to maybe hire out someone to do this work for you, but just really explaining the power and impact that investing into your marketing strategies can have for your organization. So we're going to be doing a deep dive into some of the things in my wheelhouse: video, imagery, podcasting, talking about those tips. And I'm going to be talking about how that might apply to your industry and how it might apply to different scenarios. But why me? Why tune into this podcast? Why even check this out? Well, my background, I studied journalism from the University of Oregon, and I've been in the marketing industry for the last handful of years. I've been in the financial industry, dabbled in the tech industry, nonprofit, education sectors. And so, my resume actually isn't that extensive in this type of work, and I think that's what makes this podcast unique, is that you're going to be learning alongside me as I'm somewhat newer and trying and seeing this stuff with fresh eyes. I will be able to maybe ask similar questions that you might ask as someone that's also new into the industry. So I'm trying to do that heavy lifting for you, so you don't have to go and reach out to all these people and get all this information. I'm going to aggregate all of it. I'm going to refine it so that way I'm only bringing the best. And just a little bit about myself, I'm a generally inquisitive person. That was my favorite part about journalism, is asking those questions and really getting to the heart of storytelling. Because with media, with the videos and the podcasts that I make, it's really how do you captivate people, get them excited to want to learn more or just be engaged with your brand and products. So, like I mentioned, I'm going to be learning alongside you. And, sometimes I would say another advantage that I have is that people that are a little bit further along in the industry might forget what it was like when you were first doing some of these things. So as a newbie beginner myself, I'm going to be in the trenches with you, learning and providing my feedback and insights along the way. So who is this podcast generally geared towards? I would say it's going to be people who are running their own small business, someone in the industry, maybe works on a marketing team. Maybe you also are just a content creator and you're looking at ways to kind of work on distribution. You're working on ways to collaborate well with others. We're going to be covering quite a few angles when it comes to media and the aspect of marketing. So I'm really looking to kind of bridge the gap between those two things. So, maybe you're someone that also just wants to improve their knowledge and learn how to produce content more effectively. There should be some good nuggets in here for everyone. And like I kind of mentioned, you could also be a designer, photographer, or maybe even a podcaster. But there's going to be some knowledge and tips to help you grow with your skills. I guess a little bit about me and my own kind of marketing journey has been that I've always found that it's a lot of trial and error, trying things, and so I want to have you learn from my mistakes so you don't have to do something similar, and you can save yourself time and a headache later. And what I've found is, I've done trial and error, seen what works, and then bringing that to the forefront and building upon it. So in marketing, there are a lot of rising trends and things that are happening all the time, and I'm going to try to cover them as well as I can, but the digital landscape is getting bigger and more expansive, and there's different platforms coming out all the time. So staying on top of things, I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to do my best for you, but it's a lot. So I'm going to do my best for you, but it's a lot. A big thank you to our sponsors over at songtub.com. That's right, song or music and a tub, like a bath, but more fun to say. Tub. Anyway, you can check out Songtub's website for any of your music needs. In fact, the song playing in the background right now is from Songtub. So why pick them over anyone else? Well, they curate the music. And I know the guys, so that means I know that they're selecting great music for your project. A lot of other companies will brag about how many songs they have, maybe 100,000, 200,000, maybe even 1 million. But honestly, I don't have time for that. I don't have the time to just sit down and go next, a song not so great, trying to figure out where the best music is. Songtub.com, great place to get your music, and now I'm excited to offer you the first month for free if you go to songtub.com/pro, P-R-O, and we have a promo code for you. Yes, that's right, my name, your host, Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, and that will give you your first month free to have access to a huge music library that you can use towards your next video project, podcast, or any of your general audio needs. Anyway, back to the show. Today we're living in the age of the empowered consumer. Consumers go where they want to get that information and how they like to receive it. So you could go to Instagram if you like images and you like to learn things through a visual manner. If you like audio, you go to a podcast. You like to read, you have ebooks, you have websites, web pages. Same with Facebook is also kind of a runoff of that. But I don't want to dive too deep into some of these different strategies. We'll do that in future episodes. But there's a lot of ways to get your info, and be cognizant of that when you are creating your own assets. And I'm going to have some questions here at the very end to consider for your customers. What are those things that you can do to meet them where they're at and provide a good experience for them? So there's a lot of different ways to convey your information, a lot of different ways to tell your story as a marketer, and I'm always a big proponent of the impact that story can have on your marketing materials, ways to engage your customers and create a good experience. So where does your brand story resonate best? Figuring out where can you tell your story that is in the same location as where people are going to be. I know, first thing that comes to mind, even though it's an older traditional, it's not content marketing, but doing radio ads, if you are catering towards people that have cars, maybe that makes the most sense. It's a good location for you. So I'm not saying that there's any one particular best strategy, but just looking at your company model, looking at the market, and catering to what is going to work well for you. So where can you listen to this podcast? Well, I'd like to be alongside you as you go on maybe your daily commute, maybe you have a daily walk, and I want to be there to help bring some different ideas to light, get you excited about marketing, and figuring out some strategies that are going to work for you. So I want to talk about some of the episodes that are on the horizon. We're going to be talking about video. We're going to be talking about the impact of your image on your brand, or just imagery, photos on your brand in general, and just a lot of untapped marketing streams that you could try for your business. And we're going to bring on lots of guests because I am very limited in my knowledge, but we're going to be exploring different topics and bring them on, and they're going to be showing you and explaining different ways to enhance your marketing efforts. So what can you do in the meantime as the podcast keeps getting underway is please subscribe to receive updates for this content. You can share the podcast with your friends if you think they might benefit from learning more marketing tips, especially those that are thinking about doing things around the camera, maybe doing a podcast that want to enhance their storytelling abilities. This is one to look to. Some other resources for you. You can visit tactusmedia.com /media marketing podcast, but also on my website you can find out more tips about doing your own podcast, launching a video channel, help with your branding. We can do some logo design work for you. This podcast we're hoping to have on Vimeo here soon, so you'll have the whole suite of videos to watch. Some people are a little bit more visual learners. And yeah, this podcast can be found on iTunes, Spotify, and a lot of other random platforms such as Stitcher, Podbay. Just do a search on your favorite platform and see if you can find us on there. Some questions to think about for as we go into this series, and just I want to leave you with some things that you can start implementing today for your business is, how do you convey your message currently? What platforms are you doing? How refined is that message? Do you have a message? Determine what platform is the best for sharing your message. Right now, for a lot of people, that's LinkedIn. Do you have it in written form? Are you good on camera? Do you have a good voice for being able to do this? Do you like speaking on camera? These are some things to take into consideration as you start building out these assets. So, all right, this has been fun. Until next time, that's a wrap. Cut. I want to say a big thanks for tuning into the Media Marketing Podcast. Please subscribe to get notifications for new episodes, which are coming out every Thursday morning, or at least we're striving for that. Feel free to visit our Facebook page where you can like and join the media marketing community. This is a good resource for collaborating, sharing ideas with other media creators, marketers, and those just looking to build their network. So until next time. A cactus knows how to survive. It can endure scorching heat, limited rainfall, and defends itself against critters daily. Your business is no different. To survive harsh conditions, it's important to develop deep roots using media content that'll continuously nourish and support your marketing efforts day after day. Tactus Media is here to help you determine a strategy and create media content. Together, let's map out the next sequence of videos, podcasts, and social media to help your business thrive. Work with Tactus Media, media tactics that stick. Ouch! Visit tactusmedia.com to learn more.